Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The recent elections in India brought about a sea change in Indian politics as well as in the global political scene. As a matter of fact, these elections were a foregone conclusion, although they were evidence of a consistent campaign by the Western liberal media as well as the political institutions which were already aghast at the success of conservatives in Australia, in Austria, in Hungary, Trump's earlier victory, and also the Brexit vote that was cornered by the conservatives. So the liberal media and the liberal demagogues joined hands and started a campaign the like of which people might have never have seen, abusive, high-pitched. And they forgot that the Indians, when it comes to the cult of heroes and demigods in politics, they cheer for hero number one. While some have argued that the election results in India were based on Tina factor, there is no alternative factor. Others have asserted that the results were based on Timo factor. There is Modi only factor. Posters, advertisements, caps, cutouts, t-shirts, mugs, videos that Prime Minister splashed all over. And there was one refrain: winner takes all. Now, I was quite amused by this internet wag. Somebody wrote that the British are dismayed, that Trump are trumped, and Indians are modified. And as a matter of fact, when this was being upheld, people were aghast that the Modi came, which was a foregone conclusion, but with a thumping majority, and thereby hangs the tape. What is in store for India? What is in store for the whole world, especially South Asia? Now, nobody can deny that India is emerging as an economic engine and as an economic power. Politically, Modi is also building up a quadrilateral pole to counter West and China, and that pole has 4 legs: India, Israel, Japan, and Australia. And combined, they have economic capability, technological capability, and unspent reserve of forces. And people are afraid that Modi, if he's successful, would be a superpower, which is quite possible. Now come to what happens in India. The biggest fallout of Modi's success is that the opposition is decimated. And for a parliamentary democracy, this is a disaster. And absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, let's not deny it. Modi may be personally not be corrupt. Agreed. But nobody can deny that the people around him are not the paragons of virtue. Especially their Hindutva idea, the main fundamental ideas are not something which are like God. Even today, one of the ministers had ridiculed his own party for participating in iftar. Now, this sort of narrow-mindedness is going to cause havoc. Nobody can deny that in India, Hinduism is in majority. But the minorities are no less. About 17% Muslims, 2% Sikhs, 3 to 4% Christians, 0.5% Jews, and so on, and then non-descriptive religions. So total comes approximately to 27 to 28% who are not Hindus. No government can write roughshod on that, and if government tries to do it, the result would be a disaster. It is either a dictatorship or you have to give and take. So that is one form. Second, the constitutional aspect. Given the vast majority that he has in the lower house and every likelihood that by next year, 2020, he'll have absolute majority in the upper house as well, he can easily amend the constitution. I'm not worried about abrogation of Article 370 and 35. They were stupidities. And the sooner they're abrogated, the better it would be. My concern is that Modi has dictatorial tendencies. Every strong man has that. Nothing wrong with that. And he might change the constitution from the parliamentary system to the presidential system. Again, there's no problem with that. As a matter of fact, this election was basically in a presidential election mode. It was Modi, Modi, Modi all the way it was Trump, Trump, Trump all the way. And Modi is emulating Trump. Use of social media, nationalism, both are strongly nationalist. If he says, make India, USA great again, Modi says, made in India. Variation. Both are committed to provide economic impetus and employment opportunities. Both have depended on absolutely nationalistic ideas as opposed to the globalization. And that is what is dismaying the so-called liberals. Then, in case Modi has a majority, which he is going to have, he already has a majority in the states. In this election, in 17 states, there's not a single MP from the Congress party. You travel from New Delhi to Kedarnath, no. There's only one MP, Congress MP, who was elected, that's Sonia Gandhi. So he can easily amend the constitution, make it a presidential form of government. If he stops there, it's good. But suppose he has the same intention which President Sukarno had in Indonesia, followed by President Suharto, the ambition that Marshal Tito had in Yugoslavia, Abdul Jamal Nasser had in USSR, or now President Xi has shown in China to become a president for life, then where is this much wanted democracy? So that's a danger. Now, economically, it's going to be a great thing for India. His schemes, which are welfare and time-honored success, has shown them, America and others, are good. His desire to make India's military strong, again, like Trump. Trump is reinforcing US military forces, military strength, and he is doing for India. And that will make India a superpower. Then, he's not only making India self-sufficient, but he's also exporting now. For the first time, India exported arms to the other countries, including Vietnam. Then technological advances. Not that the Indian scientists were not working when Modi was not in power, but then their hands were tied. They were not given funds. Otherwise, what ISRO did last year, launching 103 satellites with one rocket, could have been done earlier. But no. UPA government had blinkers on, and they were more interested, like President Trudeau, Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada. Sorry. They were more interested in getting products from abroad rather than looking after their own country. That thing is over. Modi government is committed to the country. So economically, politically, socially, these are going to be the followers. Fear is he might become a dictator, which again synchronizes with the Indian psyche. Indians basically love dictators. When Indira Gandhi had imposed emergency, people by and large were in favor, but the demagogues and others and the so-called liberals were annoyed. And Bulganan, I remember, had asked her to declare herself a president for life. But she was a real Democrat. She said, no, I'll go in for election. Modi can go in for that temptation to be the president for life, and he's comparatively young by the Indian standards. Now comes the neighborhood. Pakistan would think twice before venturing again. Not that Pakistan army is going to be satisfied with not promoting terrorism, they would do it. But Pakistan leadership, especially political leadership, is aware that now there will not be tolerance, there will not be forbearance, there will be tit for tat, reciprocal action. What happened in Balakot? Whatever Pakistan might say, international media has admitted, and that media is against India, that at least 170 graves were found, dead bodies of the terrorists. And India's strength is clear that Pakistan goes with a begging bowl, and it is on a grey list of fatigue. So, and other littoral states, Bangladesh, Burma, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, Mali, Sri Lanka, they are going to be with India. They are not, if not in India, but at least they will not annoy India. There will be no mosquito bites. This is going to be a big headache to China. Now comes internationally. Modi's policy of 60-40 ratio, 60% pro-Russia, 40% pro-West, not non-aligned like Nehru was, but being careful about the country's prospects and at the same time promoting economy. As I said, that's the main thing. So it's going to be great. And then he'll be the balancing factor with the quadrilateral block that he's building up. So the fear of the war would not be there. So domestically, there's a danger. And there is a real danger that with the decimation of opposition, he might allow his dictatorial tendencies to come into full swing. Otherwise, it's going to be a golden era. In the neighborhood, India is going to be preeminent, and globally it's going to be treated with respect and fear. Love and fear both would be there. Now, there is one thing I'd like to point out, that Modi's so-called Hindutva is mostly for the domestic consumption. As far as the international level is concerned, imagine for the first time in the history, India was invited as a special guest at OIC meeting. Whereas in 1969, 70, yes, India wanted to become a member, wanted to attend as an observer, and Indian ambassador in Morocco, Gurbachan Singh, was asked to go there. He was not even allowed entry into the conference hall. He was just asked to go back. And today they invited, by today I mean a couple of months back, Sushma Swaraj as a special guest. Now, one thing which we have to take into consideration is Modi's cabinet. Basically, it's a presidential form of government because it's Modi all the way. But the cabinet has some disconcerting facts. One is Amit Shah. He is welcome. With his coming in, Hurriyat has already changed its tone to saying that they will not oppose repeal of Article 370. And they say whatever Modi government does is okay with us. So if Hurriyat can change its tone and its voice, that's a welcome sign. Secondly, the finance minister, despite Nirmala Deshpande's excellent record as a defense minister, she doesn't have that understanding of the subtleties of finance and economy. But our Niti Ayog is competent and they can solve the problem. The biggest problem I see is in the appointment of the foreign minister. Jaishankar is a great bureaucrat. As a foreign secretary, he was very successful. Unfortunately, now there are two foreign secretaries. One is the foreign secretary bureaucrat, the other is the former foreign secretary, Jaishankar. Now, if the minister in charge is a generalist, then he can take the opinion of the specialist and then look at it from the different angles of politics and economy, public relations, impact on the nations, and so on. But being a bureaucrat out and out, 40 years in that, he already has set ideas. So he may not be able to give it that fine-tuning which Sushma was doing. You might argue that he was actually implementing Sushma's ideas, yes. It's like that Manmohan was very successful when he was the finance minister. He was implementing the orders of Narasimha Rao. And he became an absolute failure because he was implementing the stupidities of Sonia Gandhi. So he lacks that capability of having a wider vision. And in a parliamentary democracy, the minister is always a generalist because he has a wider perspective. But as I said earlier, this cabinet also shows the presidential form of government. Though ostensibly, apparently it's parliamentary, it's not. It's exactly presidential and all the ministers are nothing but the echoes of Modi's thoughts, Modi's ideas. So it's a mixed bag. Fears are there, hopes are there. Hopes more than the fears. Let's be very clear. It is a ratio of 80:20. On the whole, it is definitely a march towards nationalism, economic progress, good of the people, and a preeminent position in the global order. Thank you. Thank you very much.